What's going on, guys? T Blake here, and today I woke up to some interesting news. Now, this is from the New York Post. I want to precede this by saying I didn't see a good source here. In fact, there's no source. But with that being said, the article still holds some value and information because Karmaloop certainly is in danger of filing for bankruptcy. Now, anyone can make a video on this. I'm making a video on it and just kind of report on this, but I figured it'd be more interesting to take a look at why it is Karmaloop may or may not be filing for bankruptcy, and also look into the possibility about Kanye West purchasing the company and why I think that's a little far-fetched, and I think it's being misreported. So is Kanye West buying Karmaloop? Probably not. Here's why. So in this article, it talks about how they basically have a ton of bad debt on their balance sheet. Bad debt is really not what you want. It really hurts pretty much all your figures and kind of takes away from any revenue you might be pulling in. And when you have bad debt on your balance sheet, investors kind of stay away from it. And this would be cool if Concepts was family owned and operated. This is Greg Selko. He is the CEO. However, it's my understanding that he is more of a standing CEO because of how the company is financed. So this is an article from 2014 where they raise $13 million of a $30 million round. So what does this mean? So when you have a company and you start it up and you want to expand your company, chances are friends and family, most time you might get an angel investor. Angel investors are people that kind of incubate companies from their start. This is between $500,000, $2 million. You have to be an accredited investor to do that. If you want to look up what an accredited investor is, I'll tell you some more information on it. That's a video for another day. But even $2 million, that might seem like a lot to some people. But in the grand scheme of things, for scaling a company, typically you have to go for Series round financing. Now, there's two people that really spend money and throw around weight in this. They're private equity firms and venture capital firms. These are the people who basically bank on companies going public. Actually, I should say venture capital firms really bank on companies going public. Private equity companies often will purchase a company that's already successful and try to transform it and boost its business. If you're a venture capital company, you're really making a lot of investments and hoping one of them goes public. I'm not sure if this is making sense. I'll put some resources down below if it's not. But because of this, when you take money from people, this is CapEx Partners. CapEx is a huge firm. When you take money from another person, you don't own your own company anymore. They'll put people on your board of advisors, and all of a sudden, they're going to start directing your company to basically show positive growth. In Karmaloop's case, they wanted to kind of make positive growth. The easiest way to do this is to expand. So they created Karmaloop TV, they created Miss KL, and you might recognize those two brands as things that kind of crashed and burned for them. Miss KL was competing in the female market space. It wasn't really it didn't really have strong enough of a foothold to compete with people that already existed. And then Karmaloop TV was kind of the idea to become a complex magazine type competition. Pharrell was involved, a couple other people, and that ultimately didn't happen, as I'm sure many people watching this video aren't familiar with what Karmaloop TV is anyway. Now, the third thing on their site is when they came into debt from running Miss KL and other things, they couldn't pay the vendors on their website. So very recently, you'll notice these are their top 10 brands. Zanrobes dropped from here. New Balance was dropped from here. I guess they just got it back. A ton of these brands they couldn't pay. So for a full year, they couldn't pay you. Now, they also took away paying cash money to Karmaloop reps. Now, I'm not a big Karmaloop rep, but for some of my friends that are owed, almost $10,000, and it's not Jacob Keller, actually. It's not Bull Trick either, or Bull at RC, sorry, Bull. For those people, now they took away the cash incentive, so they stopped promoting the site. So now they're losing a huge core of their market, and they were only paying out 2% of a sale. You know what I mean? That's not that much. And then the fact that they built their entire commerce site on discounting product, basically, cut into their margins. So for instance, like this sweatshirt, let's say it retails for $100. They're typically with clothing, you're typically buying at like a 70% of cost. This is probably a $30 sweatshirt if it's $100. So if they sold it at full price, that'd be great. But their whole e-commerce site is built on discounting it, so they cut into their margins, and then if someone uses a rep code, it cuts into it more, and then they have to pay that person with a rep code. So it is kind of built to fail in that sense, and that's why they're really running into some problems. Now the last thing, which is going back to the Kanye West thing, I don't think, Kanye West might be the face or brought into this project. Whoever does acquire Karmaloop, if the company is in fact for sale, if these partners that funded it, if CapEx, they want to get out, if it is for sale, Kanye West may come on board. But I can tell you right now, Kanye West and I believe Dame Dash, the other person, they do not have enough equity to purchase Karmaloop outright. They will, if anything, be acting people for the company. Now, I can't tell you what the company will go for sale for, and I can't say if the company actually is for sale. But I can tell you right now, they probably don't have that much money to swing around. And this is most likely going to be taken over by a private equity firm that's going to come in and drop, so their financing is $70 million. They might drop, I don't know, the company might be up for sale for 35, if that makes sense. I don't know. This is a lot of content. This is a longer video than I usually do. But I think it's important before people start running around saying, one, Karmaloop's going bankrupt, which they may or may not be doing, and then two, that Kanye West is purchasing the company. I know Kanye West certainly has a lot of money, but he doesn't have enough money to buy out venture capital firms. And again, he wouldn't be running Karmaloop. He would be like a strategic person or a figurehead, because when the company is run by a private equity firm or a venture capitalist firm, you or the CEO, Greg Selko, you don't really call the shots anymore, which is a sad truth for any entrepreneur when you kind of sell your baby off to, venture capital or PE firms that want to make it grow. So it's a long video. This is a business video. This is a business explanation of what I think is going on. Weigh in down in the comments. Hopefully this is helpful. I try to bring in business ties whenever I can, especially when it's something cool like this in the news. But yeah, T-Blake signing out. I'll catch you guys soon. Peace.